Hello. Welcome again to this invisible science of smiles. Today, I want to talk about something extremely important in cosmetic dentistry, and it's smile design. Whether we realize it or not, our smile is influenced by how we see ourselves, how we feel about our appearance, our confidence, our past experiences, social expectations, and even the beauty standards of the era we live in. When we don't fully accept our smile, or when our inner identity doesn't match how we want to present ourselves, then the body adapts. We subconsciously change the way we smile. This happens far more often than people realize. Throughout history, beauty standards have changed. Let's have a look at some eras and how beauty standards through history have dramatically shifted. So I'm going to start with the ancient Greece. This era was characterized by harmony, symmetry, and ideal proportions. The key idea in this era was that beauty meant mathematical perfection. The Greeks believed beauty reflected inner virtue, and their ideal woman had symmetrical facial features, balanced and harmonious proportions, natural and very athletic bodies, and soft minimal makeup. They used the golden ratio to define beauty. They believed that numbers and proportion create aesthetic harmony. In today's world, in cosmetic dentistry, we still use the Greek ratios for a smile design. Let's look now at the ancient Egypt. They believed refinement, youth, and symbolic beauty. Egyptians viewed beauty as a sign of order, protection, and divine favor. Their ideals of beauty included almond-shaped eyes and eyes with cold, defined brows, a smooth and glowing skin, symmetry and youth, and elaborate hair and accessories. Makeup wasn't a vanity in those days. It was cultural, spiritual, and even medicinal. Kohl was used to protect from the sun and from infections. Today, the emphasis on the eyes resembles today's focus on facial framing. Now let's have a look at the Baroque period. In this period, opulence, curves, and status were predominant. The key idea of beauty was equal to wealth, abundance, health. This era loved fuller bodies, rounded faces, pale skin, which was a sign of high status, bold clothing, wigs, and accessories. They used dramatic and expressive features. A fuller figure was ideal because it meant prosperity and good health in times when food scarcity was common. The relevance for today, the Baroque ideal celebrated softness, fullness, and individuality. It's completely the opposite of today's filtered uniformity. Let's jump to the 1960s. The dawn of the youth culture, the opposite of the Baroque excess. A cultural rebellion towards simplicity and modernity. This era was the first era where fashion media dictated beauty at scale. What about today? The age of social media and digital filters. Beauty suddenly shifted to youthfulness, freedom, and rebellion. The 1960s ideal was very slim frame, big eyes, long lashes, minimalistic or mauve makeup, and natural effortless hair, and androgynous silhouettes. This was for the first time in history, beauty standards are global, are instant, and they are digitally altered. We also have the rise of the Instagram face, cosmetic enhancements, and digital smile simulations and AI-powered filters. Modern ideals often demand perfect skin texture, sculpted cheeks and jawlines, plump. The algorithms reward uniform features, creating a pressure to look like a template rather than a person. We have entered the era where the face is pretty much edited more than lived in, and this deeply affects the people's psychology, especially the acceptance of their smile. So why this all matters for cosmetic dentistry? Well, we really need to understand these changes in the concepts of beauty, because beauty standards are not facts, but they are stories that society tells at different times. But our natural smiles are connected to our identity, our emotions, our nervous system, not necessarily trends. No matter the era, humans have always tried to adapt to whatever is considered beautiful. Today, social media amplifies that pressure. This influence shapes how people feel about the smile and how they present the smile. We're going to move now to our second study. It's called the hand smile, modified smiles patterns. This study looks at what we often call the hand smile. It's a smile that develops from long-term adaptation. When people spend years hiding parts of their teeth or smiling a certain way to meet social expectations, that smile becomes their habitual expression. This is very important for aesthetic dentistry because we have the difficult task to identify what the true natural smile is and what the adapted social smile is. Otherwise, we're going to take a risk when we design a smile that fits the adapted pattern and not the person's authentic expression. Because when you're happy with your smile, you tend to come back to your authentic, natural expression. Our last study is talking about adaptation changes and how it's going to affect the facial structures. So long-term smile modification can cause overactivation of certain muscles, underactivation of other muscles, asymmetry, one side might lift more than the other one, narrowing of the arches, inward tilting of the posterior teeth, movement or crowding of teeth, and changes on lip mobility, tension patterns in the face that are going to alter the appearance. This is why cosmetic dentistry, we need to look at the psychology, the functional, the muscular, the expressiveness, and the aesthetics. A true smile design will support the person's natural expression, not just the shape or the teeth. Before I introduce you to Lucy, I just want to be clear on something. So all the content in this video is for educational purposes only. It's not diagnostic or clinical advice. The character of Lucy is fictional, but her story is based on real concerns that many patients have shared with us and patients that we have treated. If anything resonates with you, please seek a consultation with a qualified clinician for proper assessment and personalized advice. Now, let me introduce you to Lucy. Lucy had a beautiful personality. She was warm, expressive, soft, but her smile did not match her natural expression. When Lucy smiled, her natural muscle pattern wanted to pull her lips into a gentle curve, but subconsciously Lucy had trained herself to smile in a straight line. Why? Because over the years, she started disliking the edges of the teeth. They were flat, they were very boxy, square, and they didn't follow the softness of her face. So Lucy adapted. Her smile muscles wanted freedom and movement, but her teeth forced a flat, rigid form. Her face also wanted softness, but because her anterior teeth were completely straight and geometric, it didn't allow for that expression. She didn't know that she was doing it. This adaptation happened at a very subconscious level. Her body found a way to protect the parts she disliked and didn't feel like they were part of her. So Lucy's natural smile, the smile her DNA programmed, wanted a soft curvature, but her social smile, the one she used for photos, social situation, and daily interaction, was completely different. In photos, Lucy was smiling with limited lip movement, with reduced upper lip elevation, with tension patterns around the chin, using compensatory muscles instead of the natural, spontaneous ones. Her smile was pretty much like this. In other situations, like laughing with friends, the natural smile would briefly appear, and it looked nothing like her social smile. So this is exactly what the research shows. When people dislike part of the smile, they adapt the entire muscular expression. So because Lucy had been hiding the edges of her teeth for years, she activated muscles that are not meant for smiling. She suppressed the natural zygomatic movement, she created asymmetry between left and right lip mobility, and her smile looked very stiff, even though she wasn't a stiff person. Over time, this contributed to subtle changes. The arch width got narrower, the tooth alignment changed, and the overall facial expressiveness changed. Her smile simply didn't match who she was. And this is where functional aesthetics will come in. So Lucy taught us something very important. Cosmetic dentistry is not about fixing teeth only. We need to understand the face, the muscles, the natural expression, the psychology, the behavior, and the identity of the person. A very well-designed smile should follow the face, not force the face to follow the teeth. When we redesigned Lucy's smile, the goal was very simple. We wanted to restore the natural curvature her face was always trying to express. By softening the line angles, adjusting the incisal edges, and respecting her facial flow, something beautiful happened to Lucy. Her natural smile finally came back. Her muscles relaxed, her face looked more harmonious, and she looked more like herself. And for the first time in years, Lucy didn't have to think about her smile. She could just smile. So when we evaluate a smile, we are not evaluating only teeth. We are evaluating a human being with their psychology, their expression, and their identity. A smile is not only what you see on the outside, it's a reflection on how we feel on the inside. And when we marry these two worlds, the emotional and the aesthetic world, that's when we create a smile that truly belongs to the person. On our next episode, we are going to find out how our smiles can shape our brain and the intricacies with our neurology. We will show you in reality the power of a smile. Stay tuned, see you soon, and take care.